When I meet with people for the first time, I find oftentimes they've got this gut feeling that something should change in their investments. They've grown their money their whole life, but now as they're starting to enter into retirement, the goal of their money changes. And so their investments should change, right? But how do they do that? And they're absolutely right. It's a critical shift that has to happen because your whole life, your growth is your number one objective. And now all of a sudden, income becomes your number one goal. And so your money's got to match that. Well, what's the problem? People don't often do that. In a lot of cases, they just slide right into retirement with the same growth first, income second approach. And it's the number one reason why I find that most retirees have that lack of confidence. In fact, a recent survey said that over 60% of retirees worry about running out of money. And I think it all ties back to this very critical shift that we have to make, where growth isn't number one anymore, income is number one, and growth is second. What happens if we don't do that? Well, if we look at rules of thumb like the 4% rule, for instance, and growth remains the number one objective, and let's just say we go back to the beginning of the century in 2000, and we start pulling 4% of our money out, and then we hit a recession, we hit a downturn in the market. Well, now we are eating away at our principal, all while it's going down in value. It's a compounding problem. So much so that the people that followed that rule of thumb stood to lose more than half of their money in just 8 short years. And that doesn't sound like the stress-free, confident retirement that most of the people that I talk to really want. And that's key. Having that income first, growth second model means that you have the confidence knowing that the income's going to be there. Doesn't mean that you're giving up growth, of course not. But it just means that this money that you worked so hard for your whole life is working just as hard for you. And your money's goals and your goals are lined up so that you can live that stress-free retirement that you've always dreamed of.